everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful ruffle floraless beaded bucket hat. It has so many aspects, that's why the title is a bit dramatic, but it's basically made of a beautiful ruffle at the base. You can make this less dramatic and I'll be showing you how to do that within the video. And then it also has beads at the center of every floral motif. You can do away with this if you don't like it. And then it's also made of the floraless design. So it has so many things that you will learn from this video. You'll learn how to make the flower motif, how to join it, and how to join it to do a shaping for a hat. And then you'll also learn how to create this beautiful ruffle and so many things that we shall learn along the way. So this is how my final piece looks like. And these are some of the images of my big sister wearing this beautiful hat. So enjoy the gallery and let's get started. Alright, so this is a modification from our previous fashionable inspired floral beanie, and we're going to modify it. So if you have already tried out the beanie style, then you're going to just skip over to the beads as well as the ruffles. You're going to just continue from the end of the previous video. But this video is going to start from scratch for those people who are looking for something exactly like this. But if you have already tried out the beanie, just skip over, make use of the timestamps and skip over to the beaded part as well as the ruffles, and then transform your beanie into this beautiful bucket hat. So this design can also be worked in multiple colors, as you can see this one. Let's first take away the plain color. So you can work this design in multiple colors. For this version, I used a cream as well as a pink shade. And you can see the loose ends are quite many, but I'll get rid of them. But I wanted to show you the bigger picture of what everything may look like if you decide to use multiple colors. You can use 3 colors or even more. For me, for this one, I just decided to use 2 colors, and I feel like this is also giving me a very beautiful piece. And I am currently working my last round of ruffles, but you can see how beautiful this piece already is. Same applies to this one. The only difference is if you don't like so much color, then I would advise you to go for a plain color. So within the video, I'll be giving examples of what it would look like if you had switched colors or mixed up colors. And if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops. I'll be leaving a link behind in the description box as well as on the screen for those who want to grab a copy. For this project, I am using this cotton yarn, and I needed just about 2.5 balls of yarn. Each ball is 200 meters, so 2.5 balls. Just because of the ruffle, it ended up eating up so much yarn. So 2.5 to 3 balls should be enough. That will be a total of approximately 600 meters of yarn. That should be enough. So I'm going to make for a normal adult head. Unless if you're making for a child, I would recommend you go down like 2 hook sizes so that you can achieve something smaller but still the same exact instructions. So you will also need a 3.5mm crochet hook. You will need this stitch marker. This is key because it's going to help you out a lot in this project. And then you'll also need a pair of scissors and maybe a measuring tape. I have mine here. So you're going to just take your head circumference, but the head circumference that I am considering is the basic head circumference, which is about 21 inches. So in between 20.5 and 22, that should be the head circumference that you're considering, and your hat should be able to get to half of that measurement. So the depth of the hat from the top all the way down is about 7 inches, and then when I measure the base of the hat, I'm getting about 10 inches, but when slightly stretched, it can go to 10.5. And that's how I know that this hat is definitely going to fit an adult size head. All right, so you're going to get your 3.5mm crochet hook. If you have loose tension, you're going to use a 3mm. And if you have very tight tension, then I recommend you use a 4mm. So we're going to grab our yarn and we're going to start off with a magic ring. You're going to hold your yarn like this, roll it over your 2 fingers, insert your hook, grab the working yarn, and then you can remove your fingers and hold, and then make a chain of 1, yarn over, pull through, and then you're going to make that tight, and this doesn't count as anything. Now you're going to make a chain of 3, 1, 2, and 3, and that counts as our very first double crochet. You're going to go into the magic ring with 9 more double crochets. This is the first one. A double crochet is yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So this pattern is explained in the US terms. So far we have, after the chain of 3, we have a total of 2 double crochets. And as I had mentioned, I want a total of 9 double crochets. So we're going to go ahead and place 7 more double crochets into the ring to make a total of 9 double crochets after the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. So this project is worked using different motifs that are later on joined to create this beautiful hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1 more. That is the 9th. So the chain 3 at the beginning of the round counts as one of the double crochets. So you're going to close off the magic ring by pulling on the tail. Try to make sure it's tight enough. And then you're going to go on top of the chain 3 at the beginning of the round, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through all. And that's a slip stitch. So we have a total of 10 stitches for round 1, including the chain 3 at the beginning of the round. So at this point, if you want to switch colors, go ahead and do that. But for me, this version is going to be a plain version. So we're going to go on to round 2. You're going to make a chain of 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So after your chain of 10, you're going to go into the same spot where the chain is coming from. That very spot, insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through all. So that is a slip stitch. We're going to go into the next stitch, which is this one. You're going to go in there with a slip stitch. And then make a chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then into the same spot where the chain of 10 is coming from, here, you're going to insert your hook and place a slip stitch. So that is the second chain 10 loop. And then you're going to go into the next stitch and place a slip stitch and make a chain of 10. And then slip stitch into the same exact spot where the chain of 10 is coming from. Slip stitch into the next stitch and make your chain of 10. And then slip stitch into the same spot where the chain of 10 is coming from. So you can see we are creating several chain 10 loops around our round 1. So continue to do this all the way around until towards the end of the round, and I'll show you how to wind up round 2. So far we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and we have only one stitch left. So we shall slip stitch into it and make our chain of 10. And this is going to create the very last chain 10 loop of our project. So after a chain of 10, into the same spot where the chain of 10 is coming from, you're going to place a slip stitch, and then you're going to make a chain of 1. And after a chain of 1, you're going to cut your yarn. Okay, so this is what we have for round 2. And at this point, once we go to round 3, if still you want to create a colored effect or you want to switch colors, feel free to switch colors on round 3. But for me, I'm going to use the same exact color for the edging of round 3. But before we go on to round 3, you're going to go ahead and make 10 more motifs of this. So for me, this is the first one. You're going to make 10 more to make a total of 11 motifs that look exactly like this. And then I'll come back and show you what to do next for the instructions of round 3. So I have my 10 motifs. You're going to have something that looks like this. Just make sure they look exactly the same. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So we want a total of 11 motifs. And now that we know how to make the very first one, go ahead and make 10 more to make a total of 11. And then we shall be back to show you what to do for round 3 and also to start attaching the motifs together in order to shape the heart that we want for our project. Alright, since I'm using the same exact color for round 3, it's time for me to work round 3 on one of my motifs. So you'll start off with a slip knot and attach your yarn in any chain 10 loop. Just insert your hook in any chain 10 loop, and then you're going to attach your yarn there. Now you're going to make a single crochet into the same exact loop, and then make a chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you're going to single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Chain 10, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Chain 10, single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. And you're going to repeat this all the way around. Just make a chain of 10 and then single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Alright, so I've just placed a single crochet into the very last chain 10 loop, and I have this space between. I'm going to make a chain of 10. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round. Just make a slip stitch there, and there you have it. You have a total of 10 chain 10 loops for round 3. Now you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, and you are going to turn your work to the back side. Now you will see that this tail can be tied to this tail. There are 2 tails in the center, and I'm going to just make a knot and get rid of them, but making sure that I don't distort the shape of the motif. So we have this one. I'm done knotting it, and then I'll also make a knot for these 2 tails towards the edge of the motif. Now I can go ahead and cut off the loose ends because we have secured our yarn. If your yarn is quite slippery, then I don't recommend this method. I recommend you use a darning needle to weave in your ends or your tails. So this is what our very first motif is going to look like after attaching round 3. So you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 chain 10 spaces. So this is our first motif, and it's going to be the one at the center of the head, the topmost motif where everything builds up from. So you're going to leave this here. You're going to get your next motif. Remember, we made a total of 11, so this is the very first one. You're going to get your second motif, and then this time round we are going to attach the second motif to the very first one. So you're going to make a slip knot, and we're going to work round 3 around the second motif while attaching onto the finished motif. So feel free to switch colors, guys. Feel free to use any colors of your choice. So we are attaching into any chain 10 loop and making a single crochet, and then this time round we are going to make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to attach. You're going to remove your hook and insert it in any chain 10 loop on the finished motif, and then you're going to make a chain of 5. That way it's like we have made a chain of 10, but we have attached it onto the finished motif. So after this chain of 5, you're going to go into the next motif, the next chain 10 loop with a single crochet. And just like that, we've attached one of the corners of our motif. And then you're going to make a chain of 5 and make sure both motifs are facing the right side up. So after your chain of 5, you're going to remove your hook, insert it into the next chain 10 loop, pull through and make another chain of 5 to make it a total of 10 chains, and then single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So this is what we have. So after joining those 2 sides, we're going to go ahead and finish up this motif without joining to any motif. So from here onwards, you're going to just make a chain of 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So now we are just going around until we get to the end of the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, single crochet into the next loop. All right, so we've made it all the way around, and I'm going to make my last chain 10. And then you're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet of round 3 of the second motif. Insert your hook there and then pull through all. Make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. Pull through. So this is what we have. You're going to turn your work to the back and get rid of the loose ends, just like we did for the very first motif. If you use the darning needle, go ahead and use a darning needle as well. For these ones, just make sure your ends are secure enough. So for me, this is cotton yarn and it's kind of rough. And once I make a knot, I know very well that it's not going to unravel. Okay. So this marks the end of the second motif. This is the back side of our piece, and this is the right side or the front side of our piece. And just to make sure we are on the right track, these 2 spaces are joined, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 spaces that are not joined to anything. So let's get our third motif. We're introducing the third one, and for this one, it's going to join onto, let's just use a stitch marker. I don't know if I have one here. So as I was saying, we're going to use a stitch marker to mark this motif. I'm going to just mark it in the middle. And this will mark the exact middle or the topmost motif of our project where everything starts from. So we are introducing our third motif. And we're going to attach our yarn to start round 3 of the third motif. You're going to attach your yarn in any chain 10 loop. And then you're going to go into the same space with 1 single crochet and then make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then place your work like this, because I want to attach into these 2 loops that are not attached, but they are closer to the ones that are attached. So we have these ones that are attached. So we have these ones that are not yet attached. I'm going to start with this one because I'm right-handed and I'm going to be working around my motif like this. So I'm going to attach into this loop, make a chain of 5, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Just like that. And then make a chain of 5. And then remove your hook and attach into this motif here, or the loop, the next chain 10 loop of this finished motif, and then make a chain of 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So see what we have right now. We've attached this one, and the next one is already attached. So the next one is going to attach onto this one and this one, which are next to the 2 that are already attached. So make a chain of 5 and attach onto the chain 10 loop of the next motif. Chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So you see what we have right now. And then you're going to make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then attach onto the next chain 10 loop. Chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop of the third motif. So see what we have. We've attached this one, this one, this one, and this one. And now it's time for us to finish up our round as usual. You just make a chain of 10 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop of the third motif. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we've made it all the way around, and I'm making my last chain 10. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and slip stitching into the very first single crochet of the round. Make a slip stitch there, make a chain of 1, cut your yarn, pull through, turn your work to the back, and get rid of the loose ends. So I'm getting rid of the loose ends as I go because I know very well what can happen if I don't. You see this? Guys, this is my pink and cream version, and look at all the ends that I have to deal with at the end of the project. It's really insane. So don't be like me, guys. This is going to really tire you out once you're done with the project, and all you have to see is loose ends peeping through your project. So that's why I'm getting rid of all the loose ends as I go. The moment I'm done with a motif, I make sure that I am done with it and we don't have to come back to it later on. All right, that's our third motif, but remember the motif that is marked with a stitch marker is the exact center of our piece. So we are getting our fourth motif, and we're going to repeat the same exact thing that we've done for the third motif. It's going to join onto 4 chain 10 corners, and this includes this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we're going to repeat the same exact process that we've done for round 3 for the third motif, and we attach the 4th and the 5th, and then for the 6th I will be showing you how to do that because that is going to be quite different. Let's first attach the 4th and the 5th, and then when it comes to the 6th it's a whole different story. So I'm going to speed through this. I'm not going to be talking much because now you know how to attach the pieces and things are not as complicated. So just watch what I'm doing. So you notice that all the motifs that we are placing are running around the center motif that has the stitch marker. Keep that in mind. So I've attached chain 5, attach, okay, so the 4th motif is basically attached onto the 4 corners that we intended to attach, and now it's time for me to finish up the round and make a slip stitch into the very first single crochet of round 3 of the 4th motif. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm slip stitching into the very first single crochet of the round. Make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. And now I'm going to get rid of the loose ends before we go on to our 5th motif. Do you see the discipline? I'm usually not like this, guys. I usually don't mind weaving in loose ends at the end of the project, but trust me, I've learned my lesson. To be disciplined and take it a step at a time and make sure I weave in these ends as I go, because most of my projects are quite big and weaving in ends becomes frustrating. So far we have 4 motifs and this is what they look like. Now introduce your 5th and do the same exact thing that you've done for the 4th and the 3rd motif. So remember, this is our center motif and we are working round 2 of the motifs, the ones that are wrapping around the very first motif. Consider this as round 1 of the motifs, and now this is round 2 of the motifs. So this is the 5th motif of round 2 of the motifs. I hope I'm making sense. So we've introduced our 5th and we're going to do the same exact thing that we've done for the 4th and the 3rd motif. So attach your yarn. Do you see how clean the project looks when you weave in your ends as you go? If we hadn't, then the loose ends would be peeping through and kind of confusing the whole look of the project. So I'm glad I did that, because that way you get the clearer picture of what everything is looking like. So let's go ahead and attach our 5th motif. So remember, we are attaching 2 corners of the center motif and then also 2 corners of the side motif or our previous motif. So after a chain of 5, you're going to attach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet, chain 5, attach into the next corner, chain 5, single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So you see that? Remember, our stitch marker doesn't move away from this center motif. That's the only way this project is going to make sense to you. Otherwise, you'll start getting confused of which layer you're at. So we are on the 2nd layer of our project. Consider this as the very first layer, the topmost layer at the top of the head, and then this is the 2nd layer of the motifs. So 3, 4, 5, and then I attach into this loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet, make sure your motifs are always facing the right side up. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and single crochet. So you see what we have right now? You see that? So we're going to finish up this motif just going around with a chain 10 and a single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, just as we've been doing for the previous motifs. All right, so I'm placing a slip stitch into the very last single crochet of the round. Actually, the first single crochet of the round. That's where I place the slip stitch, and then chain 1 and cut your yarn and get rid of the loose ends. So guys, now for the next motif, it's going to be quite different because it's going to start shaping the hat. As you'll see, I'm going to sorry about that. I'm going to teach you how to do that. All right, so turn your work to the front. So this looks like a halter top, by the way, but we are not here to make a halter top. We're here to make a hat. So this is the center motif, meaning there's a motif that is missing at this point in order to finish up this round of motifs. So after this motif, we have to have a total of 5 motifs around this center motif, and for now we have a total of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now you're going to get your next motif. You see the use of making all these motifs so that they are ready for you to use. It kind of speeds up your process, or it makes it a bit easier. You don't have to keep working from round 1. So you're going to attach your yarn and go into the one of the chain 10 loops, make a slip stitch and single crochet there, just as we've been doing for all the other motifs. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit because we need the whole project on screen so that it can kind of make sense. So this time round we are going to attach this motif to this motif to this motif using this one. So this motif is going to attach onto this, this, and this, and it's going to attach onto 2 loops of each motif. So that means this piece is going to be attached onto 6 corners. So 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So since I'm right-handed and I work moving this side of the motif, I'm going to start with this one, so that I attach this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and then I can go ahead and finish up my round as usual, as we've been doing for the previous motifs. So don't worry, I'm going to walk you through the process if that was quite confusing. So you're going to make a chain of 5 and attach. Let me just do this, attach, and then chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5, attach onto the next chain 10 loop. So don't forget, we don't attach into a loop that is already attached to another. We don't do that. So attach here, make a chain of 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So we have done attaching onto this one. So that means we are going onto these 2. of the center motif. So make a chain of 5 and attach, chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5 and attach your loop, the next loop, chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So you see what we have? We've attached onto the next 2. We've attached this one, this one, this one, and this one. And now it's time for us to attach this one, and then we shall wind up round 3 of this motif. So make a chain of 5, attach, chain 5, and then single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5, attach into the next loop, chain 5 and single crochet into the next loop. So see what we have, guys. You should notice that your hat is now starting to fold. It's no longer as flat. I wish I could show you the 3D effect, but I hope you can see it here. It's a bit bumpy. It's starting to create tension in order to create a hat-like shape. So once you're done attaching these 6 corners, because we've attached 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. After attaching your 6 corners, you're going to finish up your round as usual. Make a chain of 10 and single crochet into the next loop, chain 10, single crochet into the next loop, chain 10, single crochet into the next loop. And then you're going to make a chain of 10 and slip stitch into the very first single crochet of round 3 of this motif. Make a slip stitch there and then make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and then get rid of the loose ends. Okay, so once we turn our work to the right side, you should notice that we are done with the round of motifs that go around the center motif of our project. And we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 motifs going around the center motif. Another thing that you should notice is we have a total of 4 chain 10 loops that are not joined to any motif, and that applies to all the motifs that are running around the center motif. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 spaces, 4 chain 10 spaces that are not attached to anything. So if I'm to fold my work like this, do you see the heart shape trying to form? It's still a bit wide, but we are going to tame that. Remember, we have a total of 11 motifs, and so far we've used a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That means we still have 5 motifs that are going to create the magic and actually create a hat for us. So you're going to fold over your work like this, or you can even leave it flat. For demonstration purposes, I think it's better I leave it flat so that we first get the basics of how to work the next round of motifs, and then later on we shall fold it. So let's go on to our next motif, which is the 7th motif. Okay, so we have our 7th motif here, and we're going to attach it. We're going to create another round, and this is going to be the final round of the motifs that are running around this round of motifs this time. They're not running around the center. The center has this one, and now we are working around this layer and creating motifs. So the 7th motif, you're going to attach your yarn just as we've been doing before. I'm going to extend this a little bit, and then we're going to attach our yarn and make a single crochet into the same space. Now this time round we are going to attach, this motif is going to be placed in the middle of the 2 motifs here of the previous round of motifs. So it's going to be somewhere around here, but it's going to attach onto 2 chain 10 loops on this side and then 2 on this side, and then we finish up. But also finishing up, we're going to do something a bit different, as you'll see later on. So after your single crochet here, we're going to make a chain of 5 and attach into one of these loops. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet. And then you're going to make a chain of 5 and attach into the next loop, chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So that way we have attached 2 corners here, and then you're going to make a chain of 5 and attach into the next loop, single crochet, chain 5 and attach into the next loop, chain 5 and single crochet. So see what we have. Remember, I've told you that this motif will be placed in the middle of these 2 previous motifs. So once you're done with this, you're going to make a chain of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So you'll see the reason why I'm chaining 5 here. This is the base of the hat and we don't want it to have chain 10 loops. So after this chain 5 and this chain 5, it's time for us to go back to a chain of 10, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, and then make a chain of 10, and then you're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round. Chain 1 and cut your yarn, and also get rid of the loose ends. So guys, it hasn't yet really shaped the hat, but by the end of this round of motifs, we should be having a hat, a cute hat at that. So just trust the process. I know exactly what I'm doing because I first did a sample before I came to teach you guys my approach. Okay, so this is the very first motif of the last round of the hat, the last round of motifs of the hat. So you can see how far it is from the exact center. So let's go on to our next motif. I love the fact that I'm just picking up the motifs and just placing the last round. That's very interesting. So this motif is going to be in the middle. Okay, so let me zoom out, try to give you a better view. Okay, so this is the center, and this motif is supposed to be placed in between this one and this one, just like we placed this one in between this one and this one. So we are placing this one in between this one and this one. So this motif is basically going to attach onto these two of this motif, and then the two here, and then the two chain 10 loops before the chain 5. You remember those chain 10 loops? It's going to attach this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So your hat is going to start shaping and pulling itself together to create that space for the head. So you're going to attach your yarn. I hope I'm explaining well. If you're getting value from this video, please let me know in the comment section. Leave a comment behind and show some love and support the best way that you can. So you're going to place a single crochet into the chain 10 loop, and then we are going to start attaching. So remember, I'm right-handed, so I work around towards my left side. So I'm going to make a chain of 5 and attach into the loop, chain 5, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5, attach, chain 5, and single crochet. Now we are done attaching onto this motif, this one here. I think I should put it at 0.5. No, this is too small. Let me see if I can do something like this so that we get a clearer view. So we've attached here, so we are now going to attach here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, attach. Okay. Okay, so we've attached onto this one and this one. And now it's time for us to also attach onto these two motifs, these two chain 10 loops. So let's go ahead and do that. Chain 5, attach. Remember, we are working a round of motifs. That's why we attach onto this one as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet, and then make a chain of 5, attach into the chain 10 loop, chain 5, and single crochet. So let's see what we have before we finish up this motif. You can see how it's creating tension. It's like the heart is fighting for its life, because now it's creating shaping. And as we go along, everything is going to fall in place. So once you're done here, we're going to after attaching this one, you're going to make a chain of 5 because this is the base of the hat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into the next motif. You can see how it's creating a flat edge. I hope this makes sense. Then make a chain of 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, And then you're going to make a chain of 10, single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, and make a chain of 10 and slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the third round of this motif. Make a slip stitch, cut your yarn, pull through, get rid of the loose ends. I can't believe I'm keeping the discipline throughout the project because it's very interesting actually. So let me get rid of these loose ends and show you exactly where we are at the moment. Okay, so you can see how when you work trades to fold and create those random folds, don't try to straighten it out. It's creating the shaping for the hat. So if I turn it like this, it's going to look something like this. Still looks a bit messy, but now we are done with our second motif of this round, and we're going to repeat the same exact process that we just did for the 8th motif, which is the very last motif that we just worked. You're going to, now it's, are you seeing how the hat is kind of stretched out? You would think that our next motif is going to be placed here, but no. The motif is supposed to be placed in between the two motifs from the previous layer of the hat. So it's supposed to be placed here. That means it's going to pull the hat even more. So for those who thought that the hat was actually wide and not functional, guys, this is supposed to be a functional hat by force. So this is going to be in the middle of these two motifs, and it's going to attach onto this motif, this loop, this loop, this loop, this loop. Remember, we don't attach onto the loops that are already joined to another loop. So make sure you don't attach anything here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. That's the reason why everything is going to pull together like this. You see the distance between the two? Everything here is supposed to join onto this motif. So we're going to go ahead and attach the 9th motif the same exact way that we did the 8th. So let me walk you through that. That may be a bit tricky, but it's the same exact process. So you attach your yarn in any chain 10 loop, and then you start attaching. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start with this one. You're going to see how it gathers everything together. Okay, let's see what we have. You see that? Don't try to straighten it out. So we've attached these two, and these two, and this is exactly what we want because this is the center of our hat. Once we fold it like this, you see how everything is now making sense. The only problem is we haven't yet worked the last two motifs that are actually supposed to eventually create, are you seeing the missing piece? It's the 2 motifs that are left. Right now we are on our 9th motif, and that means the space below here is for the 2 motifs that are missing, the 10th and the 11th. So you can see how a heart is actually coming together, and I'm loving the color already. Guys, let me know in the comment section, are you excited for the final look of our piece? So once you're done here, you're going to make a chain of 5, because we are at the base of the heart, and then single crochet. And you can see what I mean by the base of the heart. The shape is already being created, and we are creating a flat edge at the base of the heart. So after this chain of 5, you're going to make a chain of 5, and then single crochet into the next loop, then make a chain of 10, because this chain of 10 is supposed to attach onto the next motif. That's why we have a chain of 10 next. And then we have a chain of 10, and then slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round. Make a chain of 1, cut your yarn, pull through, get rid of the loose ends. Okay. All right, so it's time for us to attach our 11th motif. So let's go back to trying to place our work flat on the table. Now it's no longer even possible because we have a dish-like structure that can't go flat. It's like trying to make a plate be flat on the table, which is impossible. So right now this is what we have, and we are going to introduce our 10th motif. It's going to be placed in the middle of this one and this one, these 2 motifs from the previous layer of motifs, and it's going to attach onto this loop, this one, and these 2 chain 10 loops on this motif, because we have to create a round. I hope that makes sense. Try to make sense out of it, because I'm trying my best to explain this whole process. So I'm going to go ahead and attach, and then I will meet you back to show you how to attach the final motif, which may be a little bit tricky, but once you've gotten the basics of how to construct this piece, this shouldn't be something that's very hard for you. So we are attaching the 10th motif, and we want to see how the shape goes after this motif. You can see the tension. This looks like rubbish, but we know exactly what we are shaping. So okay, so we are done with the 2 loops joining here, and then we are joining onto these 2 loops as well, 1 2 3 4 5, and then attach into this one, single crochet, 1 2 3 4 5, and attach 1 2 3 4 5, and single crochet. Guys, you see that? See that? See that? Now it's time for us to attach onto these 2 loops as well, and you can see how the heart is automatically going to gather even more. So 2 3 4 5. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, and single crochet, 1 2 3 4 5, attach into the next chain 10 loop, 1 2 3 4 5, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. You can see this. Look at that. We haven't even tried to shape it or whatever it is. It's already shaping itself. Wow. Oh, this looks good already. So let's finish up our 10th motif. Chain 5 and single crochet, because we're at the base of the hat now. Chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, and then you're going to make a chain of 10 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, chain 10 and slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round. Make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through and get rid of the loose ends. So now we are going to go onto the very final motif that's going to create the final shaping of the hat. Okay, let's see where we are supposed to place it and how many loops it's supposed to attach onto. So we are here. This is the place. You remember the center of our hat is here. And now this motif, which is the final motif.
Imagine you wrote a killer piece last year and you got a...
Okay, this is the final motif, which is the 11th. The 11th motif. It's supposed to be placed in between this one and this one. So let's see what we have. You'd be thinking maybe there's something missing here or something missing here, but no. This is going to attach onto these two loops, the chain 10 loops of this motif, the chain 10 loops of this motif, the chain 10 loops of this motif, and the chain 10 loops of this motif. So the reason why it's attaching onto these ones is to create a round and actually finish it up. And the reason why it's attaching onto these ones is because it's supposed to be placed in between the two motifs from the previous layer of the motifs of the project. So let's go ahead and attach our very final motif. You're going to make a slip knot and attach into any chain 10 loop. Make a single crochet, and I'm starting from this side because I'm right-handed and I'm going to be working along this side while moving towards this side. So I'll start with these 2 loops. I will make a chain of 5, attach, chain 5 to make a total of 10 chains. Okay. Chain 5 and then single crochet into the next chain 10 loop, and then make a chain of 5, 1 2 3 4 5, attach into the next loop, chain 5 and single crochet. So we are done attaching the 2 here. So now we are going to attach the 2 here. So make a chain of 5 and attach into the next chain 10 loop that's not attached to anything. 1 2 3 4 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Chain 5, attach into the next loop, the chain 10 loop, chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. So we are done attaching these 2 and these 2. Now it's time for these ones. So let's go ahead. This is going to gather our piece even more. So chain 5, attach into the next chain 10 loop that's not attached to anything. 1 2 3 4 5 and then single crochet. You see how our very large project is kind of shrinking. So chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, attach into the next chain 10 loop, chain 5 and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Okay, so we are done attaching these two as well. We've attached these two, and these two, and now it's time for us to attach the last two chain 10 loops. So to do that, you're going to make a chain of 5, 3, 4, 5, and attach the next chain 10 loop, chain 5, single crochet into the next chain 10 loop of the motif. Sorry, my yarn is splitting. Okay, so make a chain of 5 and attach into the last chain 10 loop that's not attached to anything, and then make a chain of 5 and then single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Okay guys, do you see this? Do you see the circumference of our hat? As opposed to just a flat wide thing, this has already shaped the hat design of our project. And now it's time for us to make a chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and single crochet into the next chain 10 loop. Then you're going to make a chain of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet of the round. Make a chain of 1, cut your yarn. Oh my god, I think I didn't have to cut my yarn, but I've already done it anyway, so this would have been the yarn that I would have used for the edging and for the ruffles, for those people who want to try out the ruffles, but that's fine. I think I'll just attach my yarn and continue. So I'm glad I've kept the discipline of getting rid of the loose ends as I go, because this is giving me a very clean finish at the end of the day, and I don't have to keep going back to weave in ends. So guys, tell me what you think about the project. You remember our stitch marker? You see how it has been positioned automatically because we knew exactly what we were doing and we did just that. And now we have our heart shape. Oh my god, this looks so beautiful. So I want to get a measuring tape and you guys tell me whether this hat is not functional. This is supposed to literally be half of your head circumference. Usually I consider 21 inches to 22, and we have a total of 10. Definitely this hat is functional and it can go and sit on the head. So this is the clean look that I have as opposed to what we had here. So we're going to go ahead and create a bottom edge for our hat. We're going to create this bottom edge and then we call it a day. All right, so to create the bottom edge, we're going to attach our yarn in any space. So we have these chain 5 spaces at the bottom of our hat. You're going to attach your yarn there and then make a chain of 2 and place 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then single crochet into the next space. Chain 3, chain 2, sorry, chain 2, 3 more double crochets into the same space, and single crochet into the next space. So that's what we are doing at the edge of our hat. You're going to go all the way around, chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space, single crochet into the next space. So you can see how beautiful the edging looks like. You can go ahead and place an elastic, but I don't recommend. I feel like this is just enough. You don't have to do the elastic around the head, otherwise this may be a little bit uncomfortable. So at this point you can go ahead and remove this stitch marker and then go all the way around, creating the scalloped edge on your piece. Chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space, and then single crochet into the next. Chain 2, 3 double crochets into the same space, and single crochet into the next space. So go all the way around doing this, and I'll meet you back towards the end of the round. Alright, so we've made it all the way around, creating this scalloped edge at the base of the hat. And into the very last space, you're going to make a chain of 2 and go in there with a total of 3 double crochets, just as we've been doing for the previous spaces. And once you're done with this, you're going to go into the very first space that has the very first scallop, and you're going to make a slip stitch. Make a slip stitch there, and then make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. And still get rid of the loose ends. We have 2 ends here, so I'm going to just go ahead and make a double knot, or use a darning needle to weave in your ends if your yarn is quite slippery. And guys, this is what our beanie looks like at the moment. Now we're going to go into the transformation bit to turn it into a ruffle bucket hat, but also we're going to attach some beads onto the center of each and every motif. Alright guys, now we're going to make use of the loose ends that we were cutting off our project. You can see these that we kept cutting off at the end of every motif. Now you're going to get a total of 11 beads. This is totally optional. You can do away with it if you don't want to add some beads, but I thought this could upgrade our project a little bit to give it a pop of color, since this is kind of dull. But if you want to leave yours like this, just leave it as it is. So a total of 11 beads. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So these 11 beads are going to be placed in the center of each and every flower. Remember where the magic ring is placed? That's where these beads are going to go, and they're going to give it some sort of brightness and some sort of character, as opposed to just a plain look for our hat. So let me first remove these, and then I start attaching them at the different points where I'm going to actually attach them. So you see my point? I feel like this is much more beautiful than just a plain version. This is just a thought, and this is an option for the people who feel like you could be having a very dull moment for your hat or your beanie and you want to spice it up a little bit. So let's go ahead and attach these flowers. I'm going to just show you what to do. It's just a simple process that may upgrade your design to something totally different. So I am going to use about, actually let me just leave it as it is. So you're going to get a very small hook that can go through the hole that's in the middle of your bead, and then you're going to grab the yarn, have it pass through like this, and then you're going to insert your hook on one side of the magic ring and then grab this yarn. Make sure you don't pull it through the bead. Just pass it through like this and pull it to the opposite end. This may be a little bit hard, but I'm going to try my best to have it through. So the best thing to do is to hold this one on this side of the bead and then you grab the opposite one. Just like that. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Now I'm going to elongate this side a little bit and then pass it through the opposite side of the magic ring of this motif. So once I'm done pulling both ends through, and you can see one of the tails is on this side and the other one is on this side. So I'm going to make sure that I tie a knot while centering the bead at the middle section of our flower motif. So once you're done with that, you're going to make a knot. You can knot it like 3 times or 2 times depending on what is secure for your yarn, and then you can cut off the excess just like that. So let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you going to attach some beads or not? Because for me, this is really satisfying to look at as opposed to what I had before. So I'm going to go ahead and attach these beads at every center of each and every motif of my flower motifs, both at the front and at the back. And yeah, we shall see the final look of our project and decide whether it was better the former way or the new way. So let me go ahead and attach, and I'll meet you back when all the flowers actually have beads on them. Alright guys, this is what everything looks like after attaching a bead at the center of each and every motif. And you can leave your work at this stage. Look at that guys. We have a scalloped edge at the base of the hat, but also those pink beads are really popping and giving the hat more character. So for those people who don't want the ruffle, this is where you get off. But for us, we're going to go ahead and attach a beautiful guys, ruffle. To transform this into a ruffle bucket hat, we're going to get our original hat and we're going to attach our yarn in any chain to space. The chain to space of the scallop, you're going to attach your yarn and then make a chain of 3 and go into each of the 3 stitches of the scallop with, after making a chain of 3, you're going to go into the same space with a total of 3 double crochets. So since the chain 3 counts as one of the stitches, we shall only place 2 double crochets there to make a total of 3, and then into each of the next 3 stitches, you're going to go in there with 3 double crochets into each stitch. So now we are creating the ruffle. So 3 into the next, 1, 2, and 3, and then into the next stitch, you're going to place 3 stitches, 3 double crochets, and just like that. The next stitch is a single crochet, so we won't go into it. We are going to just skip over to the next chain to space, and we're going to place 3 double crochets, and then in each of the next 3 stitches you're going to place 3 double crochets into each. So don't forget, we're going into each and every stitch with 3 double crochets. That way we are going to already start seeing the ruffles, because we are kind of placing many stitches in just one stitch. So you can see that it's already starting to curl and curve to create the ruffles. So you're going to skip over the single crochet and into the chain to space you're going to place 3 double crochets, and in each of the next 3 stitches you're going to go in each with 3 double crochets. I know I'm oversaying each because some people may be a little bit confused. So 3 double crochets into each of the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then into the next 3 double crochets. Okay, so the next one is a single. You're going to skip over it, and into the chain to space you're going to place 3 double crochets. So look what we have, guys. You can even just make 1 round of the ruffle. It will be really cute for those people who don't want a dramatic or drastic ruffle look. This can be enough, maybe 2 rows or something, but I'm going to give you all options so that we can see this hat growing at every stage. So you're going to go all the way around, repeating this same exact process. We've made it all the way around, and I am going to slip stitch onto the top of the first chain 3 of the round. This is the very first round of ruffles, and this is what our work looks like. You can decide to even leave your hat at this level if you don't want the dramatic ruffle. You can decide to leave your hat at this level. Let me know in the comment section if you like this version. We're going to go ahead and make that dramatic ruffle design, and for the next round, for those people who want a more dramatic ruffle than this, you're going to make a chain of 3, and into the same exact stitch you're going to go in there with 2 more double crochets. So this is the first one, and then the second one into the same exact stitch, and you're going to go all the way around, placing 3 double crochets in each and every stitch from the previous round. So 3 double crochets in each and every stitch, and you'll see your ruffle starting to become more and more dramatic. And when you come to the end of this round, if you feel like the ruffle is not dramatic enough for you, then you're going to repeat this same exact round that you're working. You just slip stitch and then make another round of placing 3 stitches in each and every stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and make mine, and I'll show you how it will look like. For my colorful version, this is what you're going to end up with after the 3rd round. You can see the ruffle is really dramatic. So let me go ahead and do this exact thing on my beige version, and then I'll be back to show you what everything will look like in the end. Alright guys, after the 3rd round of ruffles, you can see how dramatic the ruffle is, and this is what we came up with. The beads are popping, the ruffle is just beautiful, and let's see the final images of our design. Make sure you get rid of all the loose ends on your project, and let's see the final look of our design. Let me know down in the comment section if you like this version more or you like the original version more. So here is my sister wearing this hat. She played as a model for this design. So this is my big sister wearing the hat, and you can see the back side of the piece. Very beautiful. The ruffle is just everything when it comes to this design. I feel like this whole edition has stepped up the game of the whole design. So that's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as well as check out the written pattern on all my online shops. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.